kind of tricky. There was never a project deadline for this car since it was my own driver, and it took a backseat to anything and everything going on in the shop, from an oil change to shipping to answering the phone. It was the back seat. So I took it apart in August. It's May, and it just now runs. It's usually a month that a car's down with something like that. For the motor swap side of it, obviously, it had a paint job and body work and a lot of custom things done to it, like the Stage 3 kit, which fought us the entire way. But seems like it's pretty fast. I'm pretty impressed with it. I might have to up the fuel flow to the injectors a little bit with a higher flowing pump, and make a couple other small modifications to it. It should be in good shape. The Fox, on the other hand, we wanted to get done in time for the New Dimensions show. Hopefully we don't run into too many hurdles that slow us down. Here's the little things that end up taking up a bunch of time. It's this metal strip that holds the heater controls and the heater box and everything is different on this dash than it is on the dash that we got on eBay. So I have to take that metal bracket out of this one and transfer it over to this one before Drew can start wrapping it with leather. And, it's not really a big deal, but it's just one more little thing that we have to deal with, and I'm hoping with this car there won't be too many little things that crop up. Since we're putting air ride suspension in the car, what I'm going to do is take out the full suspension, and the subframes and the actual beam itself I'm going to send over to Portland Powder Coating so they can go ahead and strip it down and powder coat it glossy black. The rear end's got a pan-hard bar that'll go over there, the sway bar, and some of the other bracketry for the suspension is already being powder coated. But the main thing that's going to happen here is the suspension is going to go over to Air Ride Technologies, the stock strut housings and rear shock housings, and they're going to modify those housings to accept the air struts to give us the Air Ride suspension, and they're going to do all that in-house for us. And it's basically going to put the car on jack stands for about 2.5 weeks. So while the car's on jack stands, Drew's going to do the headliner. I'm going to wire the car, and we're going to put all the windows and the side trim on the car, and hopefully by that point the suspension's back. We got like 5 days, and we'll put the motor in. The car will go over to Max. Max will make a exhaust and downpipe for the car, and figure out how we're going to do this intercooler radiator setup, because there's next to no room in this car. The Rabbit we're able to do side by side or do a front mount in front of the radiator. This car has a radiator like this that goes in the corner, so we're either going to cut that in half or do a flat ground scoop intercooler under the car. Going up. Oh, look at that. Sure shit. Oh yeah, the really cool ball joints. I forgot about those. Probably what Air Ride will do is cut this either here or like right here, and they'll install the bag. And if they let us retain the stock strut bearing, I went ahead and bought new inserts from Autotech. They sell a polyurethane insert for the early Rabbit strut bearing bushings, which the B1 Fox uses the same. If not, I'll ask them to incorporate like the A2 design or maybe a VR6 design upper strut bearing, and we'll have them make us a plate to retain the two stock mounting points. So that could be kind of cool, but we'll see what they come up with for there. But I'm going to pull this rotor off and send them both front housings so they can do the bags on that. In the rear, we'll get to here in just a second. If we were doing a Pimp My Ride or a Scuff and Shoot, it'd be one thing, but this is the real deal. At the same time, this isn't a $250,000 street rod either, so, well, it ain't perfect, it'll look good enough. And there we have our subframe. Pull these control arms out, and probably going to have to take these bushings out, which is going to be a bit of an issue because replacement bushings are not available, so hopefully I'll be able to figure out if there's, I mean, obviously there's going to be some sort of urethane bushing somewhere that will fit in here, but the challenge will be for me to find something in the amount of time I have to work with that will actually bolt right in there or slide right in there. If not, I'm going to press the old ones out and I'll hold on to them and we'll just reuse them. They're actually not too bad a shape. The front strut shock was a different story though. It was probably worn out around 1980. You know, the front came right out, but the back we haven't taken out yet. I've looked at the back a couple times. One thing I'm worried about is it's got captive nuts into the body, and I hope they don't break. If you're pulling rear suspension and the bolt you're pulling out seems to have like a lot of pressure on it, that means that it does have a lot of pressure on it, and you need to be especially careful because it's basically holding the weight of whatever you're working on. You're ready for a snap or a pop or something whenever you finally get the bolt out. Just be extra aware of what you're working on. Oh yeah. Approximate weight, 50 pounds. This is the rear shock from the B1 chassis. This is a lot like a A1 or A2 shock. It's really a lot like it actually. I bet Air Ride will just replace this entire unit, and we'll just utilize the stock mounting bushings. Basically, this top cap won't even get reused, so we probably won't even get this thing back in any capacity. We'll probably get these bushings sent back to us in a baggie. We'll see what happens. I'd say that about concludes this 12-hour day. I'm going to clean out my tools and second day air the suspension over to Air Ride so they can get started on their stuff.